All right, you guys, let's talk Collision. And for the first time since the show started, I actually sang the theme song. And my daughter doesn't like it. I guess it's going to take a little time for it to grow on her. Now, Collision, once again, it has a premium feel. It feels way better than Dynamite. And I also was asking myself, do they even have better cameras on the show too? Because it just feels so much more of a better quality than Dynamite. I don't know. I absolutely enjoyed this episode. Now it's better than what we got on Dynamite. We did start off with the memorial service of the FTW title. So Jack Perry's in the ring with the title on a table surrounded by flowers. He even shows pictures of him doing things with the FTW title. And I like that because it does show some personality for Jack. However, as a heel, I'm still not fully convinced. Now, while he's talking about how he was a great FTW champion and he wants to retire the title, he decides that he's going to use a sledgehammer. Was it a sledgehammer? Yeah, something like that, to destroy the title. And right before you can swing and hit it, we get a video from Hook where he's doing these pull-ups on a crosswalk light, and he's talking about how the FTW title is part of his bloodline, is important to him, and if Jack thinks he's going to destroy it, he's just going to take it from him. And then we cut back to the ring, and Hook is behind Jack Perry, and he attacks him, and he also gives him a T-bone onto a table. And I really like how they did all this. I think it was a great idea for them to start off the show with this. It did get the audience hyped up, and then Hook grabs the mic and he says a Wembley tomorrow, or whatever the hell he said. And then now we have a match with these two. I don't think it's part of the main card. I think it's going to be in the pre-show because the main card does already feel kind of stacked right now. So either way, we have something new onto the pay-per-view, something that people are sort of kind of invested in. So I do think that this is a great way to add some more people onto the pre-show. However, I don't think we're going to see any other women's match on there. Either way, it was a great way to start off the show. So our first match of the night, we have Orange Cassidy, Eddie Kingston, and Penta versus the Butcher and the Blade and Kip Sabian. Now, real talk. Butcher and the Blade and Kip, they are showing, every time they come into matches, they are jobbing. However, they keep showing that they're really strong competitors. And I feel like at some point, AEW is going to be like, damn, they're too good to lose every single freaking match. And I really enjoy seeing them in the ring. I already knew that there was not going to take the win because Orange Cassidy team going to have to look strong coming into the pay-per-view. Now, AEW keep missing opportunities by using the Butcher and the Blade and putting them in vignettes of them being in butcher shops and New York delis and stuff like that. I just found out they're from New York, so I'm just like, oh my gosh, that would be really, really cool and creative to see those type of aspect with them. But also, I think they should do a feud with House of Black. I think that would be really, really cool. Either way, the match was great. I don't think we saw anything out of the ordinary here. Just a typical match, trios match. However, I still think that Butcher and the Blade team looked really, really strong here. Now, after Orange Cassidy team takes the win, like I said, if Orange Cassidy is involved in something, their team is definitely going to take the win. So once they won, we went to commercial, and here comes the best friends. They got the mic, and they have words for Team BCC. Now, we have Chuck Taylor, who starts off. I don't know what happened. He has sunglasses on. His face looked fucked up. Whatever that was. And then here's Trent. He gets the mic, and he's mad that BCC ruined his mama's minivan, and he's going to get them back for his mama. And totally understand where he's coming from. Now, here comes Eddie Kingston grabbing the mic, and the crowd is going crazy because whenever Eddie's on the mic, you know he got some shit to say. However, Orange Cassidy snatched it right out of his hand, and he was about to say something, and here is Team BCC backstage interrupting their little promo they got going on in the ring, and they all have something to say regarding everyone that's in the ring. Now, when it came to this, I didn't really care about the storyline. I didn't feel so invested in this. However, since Eddie Kingston got into it, it has been so much more interesting. Now, while the Team BCC are taking turns ripping everybody to shreds, then Eddie Kingston decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to the back and I'm going to take care of business by myself. And everyone else on his team left him. They pretty much stayed in the ring and let him go, which I found to be interesting. So Eddie Kingston goes to the back and they continue their promo on the screen. And by the time Eddie makes it to the back, everybody is gone. And he's even threatening the cameraman, like, where the hell are they? Tell me where they at. But they don't tell him anything. So then Eddie starts talking about all the members himself. And he's like, you know what, Moxley, stay out of the way. I don't got no problem with you. I want you to go home nice and pretty back to your wife and child. He's going to hurt Santana and Ortiz. He's going to hurt Willa Yuta, but he's going to save Claudio Castagnoli for last because that's his sweetheart. And he even gave a kiss to the camera. I felt so much more pumped into this match for Eddie Kingston alone. Prior to this, I didn't really care, but he's definitely convinced me. So I do think we're going to get something really, really interesting as far as Eddie Kingston being in this match. I loved this segment. So up next, we have the Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds versus Darius Martin and Action Andretti. They have a really great tag team match, but I want to say this though. Action Andretti and Darius, they've been taking a lot of L's for a while now, especially on Collision. However, they have really great chemistry together. And on top of that, I won't lie, I don't miss Dante Martin at all because Action Andretti actually fits really well with Darius. That's not a bad thing, but it's also not a good thing as well because, you know, when they say a lot of wrestlers don't like to be gone on injury because once they don't see you, they'll forget about you. Now, imagine you're sort of being replaced with someone who is just as good or maybe even better than you. So for me, I almost don't even remember Dante because Action Andretti comes off like, you know, a cousin who's doing really, really well with Darius. So they do have a really great match. The chemistry is great. And both these teams have experience with each other because since Dante got hurt, Action Andretti and Darius, they've been tagging with each other because Darius sucks in singles action, but he has almost perfected tag team matches. So it's a little bit of a different thing here. Now, John Silver and Alex Reynolds, they are healed now, especially in ROH, and we've been seeing some different sides of them lately. So definitely knew that they was going to end up taking the win, but I do still feel like both these teams here, even though they're not on their card for All In, I think it was great that they put a mix of seeing people who are going to be on the pay-per-view and also people who are not on the pay-per-view so we can see what everyone else has to offer. Great match, but a Dark Order takes the win. I think they needed it. So now they're showing us a clip from last Dynamite, and Nick Wayne and Darby are about to do an interview with Lexi, and here comes AR Fox. He's going to apologize to Nick Wayne about everything that has happened since he had joined the dark side to the Mogul Embassy. Now, Nick Wayne does not take his apology, but Darby Allin does. And I'm kind of feeling like maybe they're trying to have some type of team, maybe not with all three, or I don't know. They're definitely trying to get them together to have some type of friendship. In the back of my mind, I'm still hoping that AR Fox ends up feeling like he has something to prove to the Mogul Embassy and end up kicking both their asses and they take him back, because I really feel like AR fits really well with the Mogul Embassy. I don't really care for him too much as a babyface, but he has super solid matches either way. So honestly, I don't really care for him being friends with Nick Wayne. Now, we do have a music video from the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, and the video definitely was produced by AEW. It had a really premium feel, something that you would see like on a music video channel or whatever, and it's really cool. And throughout that music video, they're talking shit about House of Black, but the song is really, really catchy and it comes off great. So honestly, I don't care too much about the feud, but I do feel like the music video did make things a little more interesting. I don't see them I don't see them winning the Trios Gold at the pay-per-view, but the music video is great. Next, we have Big Bill versus, I didn't even catch his name, in a squash match. He does come out with Ricky Starks. And you know how Ricky does that pose that he always does? He has the belt in his hand and then he lets the belt unrolls down to the ground. And it's absolutely insane. It's so funny. But what's not funny though is these squash matches. First of all, Ricky is supposed to be suspended and he's using his manager skills to be Big Bill's manager. And to be honest, he doesn't even come off as a manager. He just comes off as someone who's just walking beside Big Bill. And Big Bill is having like 2-minute matches. It just, I don't see how that helps anybody in any way. Either way, next week is his last week of being suspended. So then after next week, he can go back to wrestling again. So this whole thing kind of feels unnecessary. I don't feel entertained by this at all. Now, next we do have Ruby Soho, who she wants the title and she's challenging, what's her name? Chris Statlander for the title. Later on, we do have Chris Statlander who says, you know what, bitch, I'll have a match with you. It's going to be at All Out. And I kind of felt disappointed that they would not add another women's match to All In. Either way, we'll see them at All Out. And I'm kind of hoping Chris drops the title. So up next, we have Willow Nightingale versus Robin Renegade. They have a really great match. And surprisingly, it was not a squash match. They're actually giving the women's a time to have matches on Collision. So I don't remember seeing any squash matches with the women's. They only usually put them on for one match on the show. So if they would have did them squash matches, would have been a huge missed opportunity for these girls. Now, I did say in my ROH review that I was really impressed with the Renegade Twins on the show. They had a really great match with Billy Starks and Athena that made me feel really impressed by them. Although I wasn't super impressed with this match with Robin, I still feel like it won't be long before we see AEW probably sign the sisters to AEW or ROH, whatever the situation is. They do have really great chemistry in the ring. And Robin, she plays a heel really, really well in the ring. So I did enjoy that. We get the typical from Willow Nightingale. Sometimes I kind of wish that she would just be a little bit more different. I don't know what it is. Maybe she's playing too much into the whole babyface thing. But their match was okay. Obviously, Charlotte, who's Robin's sister, she does get involved here and there in the match, but Willow still takes the win. And throughout the match, we do have Mercedes and Diamante. They're watching from backstage. I won't be surprised if they do something with these girls at All Out. Okay, so now for the second time, we get another squash match, which was with Keith Lee versus Ziggy Dice. This was over in like 2 minutes, and I cannot stand this. I feel like we have not seen enough of Keith Lee. I think the best that we got a chance to see him was when he was tagging with Swerved. He looked really, really great, and they really complimented each other. And they got rid of that group way too quickly, in my opinion, simply because the Acclaim got super over like overnight. Now, I don't know what they're doing with Keith Lee, and there are rumors that Keith Lee is thinking about going to wherever else to, have a better career. If that's the case, I would not be mad at it because it doesn't seem like he's getting much out of AEW lately. Maybe he's enjoying getting paid and not having to wrestle as much like how you saw in WWE, but I still don't think this does anything for his career. So last week we had an interesting video with LFI, so Drillistico and Preston. They both got kidnapped and they were taken somewhere. This week we saw when they unmasked them with the bag that they had over their heads. They're like in a warehouse or something full of other people there, and they get beat the fuck up by these guys. And then here comes Preston and Drillistico just getting all the strength from God, and they started fighting all these guys. It would have to have been like 6, 7, 8 guys that they were fighting. They end up beating them all up, standing tall, and then you can see a figure walking over to them, but it's blurry, so you can't tell who it is. I don't think it was Roosh, definitely not Andrade. Could have been Jose the assistant, I'm not 100% sure, but this looks really interesting. So next we have Samoa Joe, who comes to the ring and he's doing a promo. He is so mad that CM Punk had to dress in a Snuggie to go whoop his ass last week. Rather than showing up as himself, he feels like that's a cowardly thing to do. And honestly, I agree. Now, he is letting us know that he is a man of his word and that he's going to give CM Punk a ass whooping that he deserves. And honestly, I love Samoa Joe positive attitude. Now, CM Punk is in the next match, which is the main event. So Samoa Joe says he's going to sit ringside and he will not get involved in this match. And yeah, let's see how that goes. So for our main event, we had a all-star 8-man tag match. We had Jay White, Swerve Strickland, Brian Cage, and Luchasaurus versus CM Punk, Hook, Darby Allin, and Sting. Now, I'm really glad that with this match here, we had a mix of established stars and some AEW homegrown stars as well. So that was great to see. Now, I really like the fact that we have combinations of wrestlers that have not been in the ring with each other. So it was great to be able to see a little bit of a tease with some of these tags in the ring, especially want to see Hook with Jay White. Hook, not so yet, but I would like to see them together. I would also like to see CM Punk with Swerve Strickland having a feud. I would like to see CM Punk with Jay White having a feud as well. So there's a lot of possibilities here that you could come up with and be able to get some really cool stuff in the future. So throughout this match here, I didn't really care for who would end up taking this win. I just kept keeping my eye out to see if Samoa Joe was just going to get into this match. Now, one thing that I've been liking about Collision, I think I said before, was that the main events are not these little 10-minute, 7-minute little matches. They're 20 plus minutes, and I really enjoy that they're taking the time to really give you a really great main event. It might not be the most solid match you'll ever see, but they're showing that main events are super important on Collision, and it doesn't feel that way on Dynamite. Now, for me, I already knew that Darby's team's going to take the win. They want to have all these baby faces looking real good going into the pay-per-view, so it doesn't surprise me at all. Now, we do have a part of this match that was super funny. Jay White and CM Punk, they're about to lock up, and Jay's like, oh, I don't want you, I want Sting. And the crowd is getting hyped up, and Sting is like, hey, bro, I don't got no problem getting into this match. And CM Punk takes a minute, but then he goes to go tag Sting. And right before Sting could touch his hand, Jay White attacks CM Punk, and then he started mocking Sting in the ring. It was absolutely hilarious. So I really want to see a lot of these combinations come to life later on in the future. I'm telling you, man, Collision just looks so much better than Dynamite. Anyway, CM Punk's team take the win. So CM Punk gives Brian Cage a GTS. He could have gone for the pin with just that, but since Samoa Joe is sitting on commentary, he decides to lock up Brian Cage in a coquina clutch right in front of Samoa Joe. And the second that Brian Cage taps out, Samoa Joe was like, I'm a man of my word. I sat here during commentary. Now that it's over, I'm going to go over there and whoop CM Punk ass. And he gets in the ring and he gets into it with CM Punk. And then out of the blue, everybody in this match is brawling with somebody that has to do with their storyline. And it is absolutely beautiful. So this right here is a great way, their last ditch effort to make All In look promising, and I really enjoyed it. Guys, if you did not watch this episode, go check it out. I do think it's worth the time. Collision is so much more better than Dynamite. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with All In results. Bye.